All right. Twice a year, it is good practice to have a Toastmaster give the Moments of Truth presentation to club members. This speech provides important information for your incoming leadership team, so hopefully all of your needs are being met. Valley Toastmasters is a proud President's Distinguished Club because we take pride in listening to our members. DTM, Lucinda McNeil, will be the facilitator today, and at the conclusion of her talk, she has a short survey for you to complete. We want to hear from you. Without you, we do not have a club. Please welcome Lucinda with Moments of Truth.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. Moments of Truth is a presentation that really takes a look at all of us as members. And there are really 6 parts to it. And let's see if I can be as eloquent as Caitlin was. Some of you cannot see over here, I think. It's a little tough on you. Can you see it? Okay. The mission we went over this morning, but basically is to provide that mutually supportive environment for all of us, because the reason that we come to Toastmasters is, like Caitlin mentioned, to get ourselves in an uncomfortable position so that we can become comfortable in front of groups of people, maybe even interaction between each other. But what we want to do is improve either our communication or our leadership skills. So that's why our mission really encompasses all that. This graph illustrates what happens when people are in Toastmasters. You'll see that 1% actually pass away. They just are lifers, they're in Toastmasters forever, or an accident happens. 3% move away. So they might not be in our club, but they may be able to join another club, or they just move away from Toastmasters. 9% move on to other products because of other people's recommendations, which might look like National Speakers Association, or it might look like a Dale Carnegie class, or it could look however it needs to be for a professional speaker. 9% find a cheaper product elsewhere. I don't know how it's going to get cheaper than the $1 a day or $1.30 that it is currently, but somehow they find another way. 10% are just chronically dissatisfied. We've all met people like that. And 68%, this was the statistic that really stood out to me, they leave because of indifference. They're not getting their needs met. We're not paying attention for whatever reason. We're not listening to that new prospect or that new member that came in and said, what I really wanted to get out of Toastmasters is the ability to speak in front of a group and get feedback, honest feedback, not a whitewash feedback of, that was great, that was super, you're awesome. No, 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 no. Either you used so too many times, or really took away from your presentation, or you're grasping onto the lectern really took away from your presentation, whatever it might have been. We want to be heard and paid attention to enough so that people give us honest feedback. Plus, when we do something great, we want to hear it from that person as well. But not just the word great, not just the word awesome. What did we do that was wonderful, specifically? I think those specific comments of appreciation really matter. And then we'll get away from the 68% of indifference. So be thinking about what makes it indifferent to you, to your perception individually. Because you all have a sheet of paper in front of you that looks like this. You're going to turn that over. And if you already have thoughts in your mind of needs that you want met, there's a space on the bottom for you to write those down. And there's also a lot of words in between here that at the end of my presentation I'll give you time to read through that comment. What is a moment of truth? A moment of truth, what does it say, Catherine?
Moment of Truth is an episode where a member comes in contact with any aspect of the Toastmasters experience and forms an impression of the club's quality and service.
So they're forming an immediate impression, just like a first impression when you go to a job interview, or just like when you go see a movie for the first time. You develop a judgment of sorts, an impression. Are you going to come back? Are you not going to come back? Are those people, are they warm? Are they friendly? What happened when I walked through the door? Did people greet me with a smile, or were they too busy talking amongst themselves? Things like, those are the perceptions that can happen. So there are on your sheet here these 6 parts. Your first impressions, and then a membership orientation. I think they're mixed up here on this sheet in different order. But these are the areas that I'm covering today. Your first impressions, which we discussed, the membership orientation, fellowship, variety, and communication, program planning and the meeting organization, how's the room set up, how's the agenda followed, do we start on time, do we finish on time, and the membership strength, as well as achievement and recognition. Are we doing all of these things here at Valley? And that is the purpose. We're evaluating our club as a whole during Moments of Truth today. So first impressions. Do we do these following things? Do we greet our guests warmly and introduce officers and members? Is there a guest book and name tags provided? Is the meeting room professionally arranged? Is everything provided for our speakers' needs? And are our guests invited to join our club? And do they get to talk to the club as well? I'd like you to look at your sheet, and if there's anything that you feel that we need to add to that, please make a note of it at this time. You're going to give the sheet to the officer closest to you at the end of the presentation today. And if we're meeting all those goals, you might just put a little check, yes, we're meeting all those needs. But if we're not, we want to know about it. Ready to move on? New member orientations. Do we conduct formal inductions on a regular basis when we have new members, including the presentation of pins and manuals? If you've been here long enough, you know that we have done it, I believe, twice this spring, and we're getting ready to do it again in July, because we do have some new members that haven't been inducted yet. How are we doing on assignment of mentors? If you're a relatively new member and you have a mentor, terrific. If you don't have a mentor, we want to hear from you. And we want to know, do you want one right away? Do you know a great way to assign mentors? What is your opinion as a member of Toastmasters? The education programs and recognition. Those are the manuals that we have. Are we effectively using that Competent Communicator manual, the first 10 speeches? And how many of us are bringing our Competent Leadership books? I have to admit, once I fill it out and it's full, am I ordering another one and starting another one right away? Oh, I'm guilty. Guilty as charged. I need to start bringing a new Competent Leader book, because in your packets you did receive one of each of those manuals. But one of the things that I passed on to the future team is to remind people to bring their manuals more often. I started off strong at the beginning of the term and kind of fell off at the end, so we want to bring that back for everybody. And then in terms of how are we doing on recognition when people receive their Advanced Toastmaster Awards, are we taking the time inside the club to say, did you know that James got his Advanced Bronze, and did you know that Christina received her Advanced Silver? Because that means that they did 2 more manuals of 5 speeches each, so that's 10 more speeches, plus they gave a speech like this, plus they were involved outside the club. So those are really ways that we can, as volunteer organization, recognize one another and our achievements. Learning needs assessed. To me, what we're talking about in Moments of Truth for that is, have you taken the time when you came to Toastmasters to reevaluate Are you getting what you needed? Are you receiving enough evaluations? Are you getting the pat on the back as the volunteer that helps every morning set up the room? Mike Freeman, make sure you thank Mike Freeman. And Liz Bebo. And the donut guy, Kevin.
Special talent.
Yeah. Are you getting your needs assessed, and are we providing for you as an individual member? Because we want you to stay, and the way that you're going to stay is if we're meeting your needs. Speaking roles assigned. I have to say I think we do a really good job of that. If we notice that there aren't speakers on the agenda, we start calling each other and texting each other and emailing each other, and lo and behold, we show up here and we have speakers. Members are involved in club activities. With that speech that Caitlin just gave us, I would be surprised if we don't all get involved, because she made it sound so much fun, which it is so much fun when you get involved. The next section is fellowship, variety, and communication. We know we greet our guests very warmly. Do you feel greeted warmly? No pressure. Pretty good at that. Enjoyable and educational meetings. We do. I think when you leave on Thursday mornings, somehow, some way, you've either learned a new vocabulary word, or you've heard something about somebody's life that you didn't know before. So you leave changed when you leave Valley Toastmasters. We have regularly scheduled social events, even if it's Friday night fun night at conference, which was a blast, or we did some happy hours. In the past we've done bowling. We'll have to do something this fall. And participation in area, district, and international events. Again, with Caitlin's speech, now we know those 3 ways that we can get involved. And if that's something that's important to you, make sure you mention it to us. Inter-club events. This is something that maybe not all of you are aware of, but some of you are probably aware of it. That when other clubs are always asking us to visit their club, even though we're an early morning club, we really have to twist some arms to get them to come out for coffee and get up this early. It is really fun to visit other clubs and see how different they run their meetings. A club newsletter and or a website updated regularly. We also have to thank Mike Freeman, our current webmaster, for that. He does a great job of uploading pictures and teaching the rest of us, like Will and I and Caitlin, how to update our website. Program planning and meeting organization. Are we doing a great job there? Are we publicizing everything in advance? You tell us. Members are prepared to carry out all program assignments. You tell us. Let us know. How are we doing? What's your opinion? It matters. All projects are manual projects. We have a few people in here who are really tight regulation on that. That would be Liz Bebo and myself. In specific, we really want you to use the manuals, and everybody does a great job of that. The meetings begin and end on time, and if they don't, we ask for permission for an extra minute. Create the table topics and activities. Yes, some of the best that I've seen. Positive and helpful evaluations. Let us know. How are we doing on that? And then membership strength. We have a solid club. I don't know if you realize we have 30 members on the roster and 21 of you here today. So we're doing pretty good. But we want to make sure we have at least 20 at all times. Members are retained. We see a lot of influx, but going back to that chart, a lot of people move. Promotion in clubs, organization, or community. Sally DeBolt, when she was a member, specifically mentioned that Toastmasters helped her get a job promotion because of her coming here and practicing her leadership and communication skills week after week. She had the confidence to go in and receive a promotion. Club programs are varied and exciting. You tell us, are they varied and exciting enough for you as an individual? Toastmasters sponsoring new members are recognized. I don't know that we do that, and I've never really heard of that until I went over the Moments of Truth. So it's really good that we're going over Moments of Truth because there's so much information. Are we really doing this? And regular membership building programs. Because our Vice President, or incoming Vice President of Public Relations has already mentioned. Please, when you go to your offices, make sure people know that you're in Toastmasters so that they too can learn about our organization. And are we recognizing accomplishments? Yes, I know that our Vice President of Education, David Snyder, sends in those applications right away so we can receive our accolades. And is a progress chart displayed and maintained on the website, but not so much here in the room. So if that's important, if you want to see our progress, we could work on a way to display that at the guest table. Member achievements are recognized with a ceremony. Is that something that's important to you? I would really like you to write it down if it is, because I don't know that we really do that here. So if it's important to this group, let us know. The club, district, and international leaders are recognized. When they come to the meetings, we have dignitaries, for those of you who might not be aware, and we always take the time to introduce, like, Christina is a big shot now, by the way. When she comes to the club, she's the Verdi Division Director. She's a big shot. Club and member achievements are publicized. We do mention it quite often here, but let us know if we're doing it often enough. And DCP stands for District, what does it stand for again? Distinguished Club Program. Thank you. Distinguished Club Program, used for planning and recognition. Obviously, acronyms are a challenge for me. So you have a sheet in front of you. Please take the time to do something on here. Put, yes, we're doing it all, or please improve in this area, and please return this sheet. Here are your club officers. I'm your president. Your incoming VP of PR is Kevin, and your, let me go around here, your outgoing Vice President of Membership, James Goodnow in the back, past President Doug Mings, Sergeant at Arms Mike Freeman, Vice President of Education David Snyder, Treasurer Leela Sullivan, Secretary Will Knightsky, VP of PR Caitlin Ewens, and soon to be President tomorrow. And Nikki Dillon Morales is our incoming Vice President of Membership. Madam Toastmaster. Thank you.